everyone? Welcome to season 7, episode 35 of the Focus TV. We got Octavia and Ray here, Raymond Lyons, Wilson Tarpe Jr. We got a little bit to get through tonight. We will be starting with the Washington Mystics, who played their last couple games before the Olympic break. All-Star, WNBA All-Star, and then the Olympic break. Ray, the floor is yours.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're welcoming this time off. It's been a rough one so far this season. The Mystics, they lost to the Phoenix Mercury earlier today, falling to 6-19 on the year. Yeah, in a season where health has not been at a premium, they went into today's game only suiting up 8 players, and and of course it took its toll. They fell 96 to 87. And it just defensively, they just didn't have it today. The Mercury, they shot 54% from the field, 44% from three, 86% from the line. It was just tough, man. We know health has been a thing for them all season, but I mean, they just fell to another one. They took care of the ball pretty well today, with only 12 turnovers, but they weren't able to turn the Mercury over. Mercury only had 9. Shockingly enough, they were competitive on the boards, led by Maisha Allen with 12. She battled, facing the Mercury's front line, but it was just too much for Washington to overcome today. I know the main thing looking forward to this month off and coming back from the break is they're just looking forward to getting some bodies back. They're going to be reevaluating Samuelson and Brittany Sykes. Hopefully they get those two back in the lineup. But yeah, that's health has been the main thing for them, but execution down the stretch, not taking care of the basketball, and just having too many spells of futile offense and defensive times has just it's just led to their bad start to the season. Again, like we say, they can just string together some good games, they'll find themselves right back in the mix. But as we continue to say, time is not their friend. So hopefully they can regroup and come back out this break strong. But it's been a rough go so far, so I know they're looking forward to having this time off. They have a couple of people representing their countries. Ariel Atkins for US, and Aaliyah Edwards will be playing for Team Canada, and for Belgium, Julie Van Loo will be suiting up. So good luck to those ladies in their Olympic endeavors, and hopefully they come out on the other side of this thing a little healthier and can salvage what's left of the season.
For sure, and that's the craziest part. I was just pulling up the standings when we were talking about how far out of it they are, despite what the record is. They're 3 games out of 8th. Everything that's gone wrong. They're 3 games out of 8th and 5 games out of 7th. 19 losses at the break. That's like literally, it's somehow there's still an opportunity, right? Obviously they've dropped several games that we feel like they should have won, but it happened. On to the men's side of things over in Summer League. We've had quite a time talking about that over on Wizards Outlook, the Summer League edition. Obviously, Wizards fans, y'all have to relax. It's only Summer League. I need y'all to take a deep breath already. Y'all driving me crazy already, man. It's early. The Wizards have played 2 Summer League games thus far in Vegas. The results are mixed to this point, especially for fans. They won the first game. They lost the second one to the Rockets, where Ken Whitmore and company looked like a young Rock. Rockets already young during the NBA season. The youngest heck. Ken Whitmore was was flirting with being in that rotation last year. He definitely should not be in Summer League. He made a case against the Wizards as to why he doesn't need to play anymore Summer League minutes. Him and Reed Shepherd got active in that one. But just with Washington as a whole, they struggled a little bit. If you want to see what Ray, Cardell, and myself had to say in depth, head over to our Roku channel and check out both of those editions of Wizards Outlook. Something to keep an eye on tonight as while we're recording this, like 20 minutes from now, they'll be playing their third game of Summer League. They'll be taking on the Portland Trailblazers. Keep an eye on Bub Carrington and Keontae George. Carrington's been the most consistent performer of the Rooks thus far through 2 games. Keontae George had a much better second outing than his first. Well, Alex Sarr had a better first outing. And then, arguably, just the opposite of a good first outing. And that second contest against Houston had a couple welcome to the NBA moments, courtesy of Ken Whitmore, Orlando Robinson, some of that physicality in the paint, what have you. So I'm anxious to see how he looks tonight as they try to bounce back. It doesn't get easier from a physical standpoint. He'll be dealing with his fellow rookie classmate, 7'2", 280-pound Donovan Clingan, who he's been struggling to find his way offensively. But through 2 games, he's fine with the physicality and the rebounding and the blocking of shots. Clingan has no issue with that. It's the offense, which I think most of us saw coming. But as far as the Wizards go, man, look, Wizards fans, this is far from the end-all, be-all. It is just Summer League. There's many successful players that did not have a great Summer League. There's also folks that had outstanding Summer League performances, and that's all we remember them by. So just everyone take a deep breath. Life is gonna be okay. I wanted to ask you guys before we move on, just your thoughts on Summer League as a whole. Octavia, any performances that have stood out to you thus far, and then Ray.
Yeah, I mean, I think that all of them are doing a decent job, to be honestly. Like, I'm not a huge Summer League fan. It's kind of sometimes hard for me to really get into, but from some of the clips that I've seen, I think most of the top players are playing decent. I mean, it's their time where they're really just now starting to kind of see what it's going to be like to play in the NBA. But of course, we know that they're still playing against a lot of rookies and sophomores. And some of those sophomores don't get a lot of time. So it's also going to be, a telltale sign for those sophomores as well, that are looking to get more playing time as the season comes up. I think as we get deeper into this specific Summer League, as we know this is the biggest one, I think we'll probably get some more standouts. I think we've already had somebody not playing. I think it was Stephon Castle. That's already been rolled out and is not going to be in any more Summer League games due to some type of injury, I believe. So that's probably the biggest thing that stands out to me, because we always talk about, hey, who's actually going to play in all of these games that they should be getting ready for, especially because on the women's side, they don't get this opportunity. But hey, it is what it is. Where the season starts is when the season starts. But yeah, I mean, I'm not, honestly, for myself, I don't look that deep into Summer League. It's just really a chance for them to really just start to kind of make sure they're back in shape, because they've also been off for a good amount of time since the end of the college season. So I try not to put too much stock in it, although ESPN and Bleacher Report are driving me crazy about the 55th pick, and I'm over it.
Not the 55th pick.
Yeah, I keep saying his name, just the 55th pick. Jesus.
Ray, any additional thoughts from something?
I just like Bub's aggressiveness, man. The field goal percentage isn't exactly where he wanted to be, but it's just the fact that he's trying to continue what he did in college, at this level, and then just his growing level of comfort, pretty much with each second more he's on the floor. It just makes me feel a little confident that he already has a sense of belonging. It's just kind of figuring out the game at this level. Some guys just kind of seem overwhelmed with the with the added learning curve. But it doesn't seem like it's he's in that space. It's just a matter of kind of figuring it out and adjusting to the to the pace of the NBA game. So yeah, I'm just looking forward to seeing how he continues to develop.
Yeah, for sure. I think him, Castle, Shepard, for as far as some of the college guards, look kind of comfortable despite some, you know, like you said, the shooting percentage. If you throw those out the way, summer league's gonna be summer league. I think Shepard's been pretty fine shooting the ball. Obviously, then Octavia, you mentioned Castle. I think he's out because he sprained his wrist. He took a nasty fall. 2 games in their first summer league game, took a nasty fall. So hurt my heart a little bit, but look, I'm happy that they're getting after it in summer league. Definitely looking forward to the night to see how the Wizards bigs respond from last game, because it wasn't anything to write home about in a kind manner at all. But yeah, just enjoying summer league for what it is, and I just hope other people just accept it for what it is and find the enjoyment in it for just exactly what it is and nothing more. We don't need any great think pieces or any big takeaways or anything like that. Like, and as Octavia mentioned, like I saw a clip the other day of the 55th pick disrupting a lob, and it was played on the timeline as if it was a deflected pass to win the Super Bowl. Like, gotta relax just a little bit, man. Just bring it down just a little bit, man. But I'm happy for all the youngsters out there getting their first taste of NBA action. All right, we're gonna get straight into take it or leave it, man. I'm not gonna waste any time, guys. Tonight we're gonna start with Lindsey Harden, former G League Coach of the Year, has agreed to a deal to become an assistant with the Lakers. She's leaving the Kings organization to join JJ Redick's staff. Take it or leave it. This being a good move for her in her career. Octavia, we'll start with you and then Ray.
I hate to start take it or leave it off in a straddle the fence type of situation. But I'm straddling the fence on this. While it is an honor to be able to be a woman, let alone a woman of color, a Black woman, to be able to be on the staff of an NBA team. So I completely understand her thought process of trying to, for lack of a better term, get in where you fit in. You know, you got to take the opportunities as they come. Do I necessarily wish that it was with JJ Redick and the atrocity that is whatever is going on in Los Angeles? Not so much. I don't know how that's all going to shake out, and I don't want her to be a casualty of whatever happens when the Los Angeles Lakers do not listen to JJ Redick and his staff, and it becomes a far gone situation where people have to take, you know, the axe and people are get scapegoated on. Not saying that she necessarily would, but if they got rid of JJ Redick, they would probably get rid of his entire staff. So that's my only reason why I'm straddling the fence. I'm taking it because you got to take the opportunities that you get. You know, hopefully she's able to parlay this into something that's going to be beneficial to her career. She's already proven herself in the G League, and we saw what that did for Becky Hammon. How she was able to, you know, start off with, you know, with the summer league team in San Antonio and get under Pop, and now she's a head coach of back-to-back winning WNBA franchise Las Vegas Aces. So hopefully she's able to parlay her way into something of that way. I leave it just because I hate that it's the Lakers.
Great.
Yeah, I gotta leave it, man. That because that's going to be a complete and utter circus this season, and I definitely understand Octavia's point where, you know, you have an opportunity in front of you to progress, and it's hard not to accept that. But this, I just don't think this is fertile proving ground for somebody looking to kind of make their way in the coaching ranks. You know, you kind of leave in a organization's trending up and going to one that's, to be perfectly honest, looks like it's going to go down in flames and rather soon. Just speaking frankly, they're they basically went all in on a 40-year-old who, when he leaves, there's going to be no resources. So I don't know what that means for anybody left behind, and to hitch your wagon to a player at that stage of their career. I mean, given it's LeBron James, but this is not the LeBron James of old. Yeah, that's a tough situation. So, hopefully things work out, and she goes there, gets some more experience, and moves on. But I mean, it's hard to envision this as a progressive step, if for lack of a better word.
Yeah, I I don't where you guys are with it. I'm happy she got the opportunity to join another NBA staff, right? In her progression to reach her goals in the coaching ranks. That's it. Why here? Because I'm just worried that if everything goes left, like you're a black coach, anytime you're tied to anything that doesn't go well, it's already tough enough. It's hard that, it's if everything goes well, it's great to have that on your record. If everything doesn't go well, it's not a great thing to have on your record, right? Obviously, you're still an assistant, but still. But I wish her the best in all of this. But yeah, that's a tough ask over there, man. That's a lot. And you talked about LeBron possibly not being what he was, right? The Lakers aren't what they used to be in terms of what they stand for and the standards they have had for many, many years and whatnot. He's not the only one that is not quite the same. All right, on to the next one. Brandon Ayuk has officially requested a trade per multiple reports today. The 49ers wideout is set to play on his fifth-year option, in which he'll receive $14.1 million. He was hoping to get a deal done with the Niners prior to training camp, which is when they typically get these types of deals done. Deebo Samuel asked for a trade in 2022. Kicker Robbie Gould asked for a trade in 2019, both of which signed extensions later in July. Other dates for extensions and other dates that included extensions for Niners players. George Kittle. That didn't happen until August 13th of 2020. Fred Warner, that didn't happen until July 21st of 2021. And Nick Bosa, who wasn't signed till the day before the league kicked off, till the day before the first game of the regular season last year on September 6th. His negotiations through the media and, some other tactics haven't really worked to this point. A lot of NFL players nowadays, they do the thing where you scrub the team that you want an extension from off your social media and try to create some drama and stuff like that. And, for the most part, the franchise he's currently employed by, they just looked at him with a blank stare, like they've looked at each and every person that I named, that I just shared with you both. So keep in mind, he's going into the fifth year. We know the NFL is not the NBA. He has a fifth-year option. So he's team control for this year, plus 2 more years if they were to franchise tag him. Does this trade request change anything in these negotiations? Do you see him getting moved per this request? Take it or leave it? I guess what I'm asking is this request. Do you take this request as how valid is this, I guess, in your eyes? Ray, we'll start with you then Octavia.
Given the track record you just laid out, and how we know the NFL to operate, I gotta leave it, man. Players just don't have the upper hand in these situations. I mean, he is talented, so he might have some suitors. Who knows? But yeah, it just doesn't seem like things go the player's way in these situations more often than not. So yeah, it's looking like he'll probably end up back in San Fran. And then why would you? Like, I get the money aspect of it. He's quote unquote trying to play hardball or what have you, but you're in a pretty good spot, man. I don't know why you would jeopardize that, but of course, aside from the obvious reason, but yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if he's back in the same uniform come season kickoff. And if he happens to get moved, hopefully he can get what he's looking for.
Octavia.
So first, let me start off and tell you there's a fly that's trying to attack me. So if you see me jumping like I'm crazy, that's what's happening. So let's start there. because I just got to be real. But yeah, like you said, I'm definitely leaving it. As soon as I even saw the alert today that he requested the trade, I was like, so, because I'm like, yeah, bro, they're not letting you walk out their door. They just, I mean, they not doing it on your timetable. I understand. I know the talks have been back and forth, but yeah, bro, like Wilson just laid out, it's a track record. It's what they do. You're just going to have to deal with it, honestly. So I'm definitely leaving it. I don't think he'll be anywhere else except as a San Francisco 49er. I'm sorry that you're not getting the market and the contract that you want. We know the NFL is stingy with their money. So that doesn't surprise me either. But yeah, I'm definitely leaving it. We will see you in the next couple of, I mean, what they do now, hold in. So he might go to camp and just, my leg's a little sore today. I don't think I'm going to play. We'll see you at camp, whether you holding in or holding out, whatever. But we'll see you week 1. I think they play the Jets. Okay, I couldn't remember if it's the Jets or the Ravens. Week 1, we'll see you prime time against Aaron Rodgers. When we can discuss this all. Possibly. I mean, hopefully, if for his sake and for the organization's sake, it's all squared away before the season starts. But if it's not, we'll still see you when the season starts.
Yeah, I'm leaving it just because if they could look Nick Bosa in his face and he had to wait till September 6th, buddy, they not moving their feet for anybody, man. Just bottom of my heart, the names that I listed, those are like, they drafted those guys. They're proud of all of them. Those are A+ tier players. They looked them all in the face and said, we're not getting none of this done until about July, guys. You and Debo, the only one that fought it out loud. Nick didn't say a word. Fred went home to his wife. George found some wrestling stuff to do. Like, everybody got mad. They just got quiet. The other thing to go with it is, I know people get excited about, but under team control because of 50 options, whatever. Like, the team has to want to trade you, and the team also gets to choose. It's more than just finding a team to match, finding a team that's willing to pay you. That team has to be willing to pay you and pay the Niners asking price. I wish you the best. It's the same team that held on to Jimmy Garoppolo past 2 years for a 3rd round comp pick because they didn't want to. They're special, man. Their front office is special. So I'm sorry, Brandon. I hope you get what you deserve at some point. I'm sure it'll probably end up being somewhere between 28 and 29. If it makes you feel better, you just be patient. It seems like Debo's deals, this is the last year of guaranteed money for Debo's deal. So, sir, feel like they were moving stuff around for you anyway. Just take a deep breath. It's going to be okay. On to another disgruntled wide receiver, or maybe not. We got a theme here tonight. It's not my fault. That's just what's going on. They all picked the same week to start doing and saying stuff, allegedly. Raiders, wide receiver, Devontae Adams. If you guys didn't know who he was, maybe you watch receiver now, you definitely know who he is. Very, very funny. Shout out to him for the Jimmy Garoppolo comments. Had me dying. Those episodes were hilarious. That said, his agents have shut down some of the noise floating around about their client being on a trading block. Quote, this is baseless, unfounded speculation. And Devontae is expected to be with the Raiders as there's been absolutely no trade talk, period. Per his agents, Kenny Chapman and Frank Bauer. Many of those rumors have been about Adams becoming a New York Jet. Take it or leave it. It's becoming an actual thing, or Adams' agents just calmly trying to tell everybody to please relax. Octavia, we'll start with you.
I honestly want to, I kind of want to take it because agents say anything. Like, do I really believe that there has been no discussion? Probably not. Granted, I think receiver was definitely filmed throughout the season. So a lot of his comments in it were raw, probably in the moment of the type of season that they had. I think a lot of this is, Aaron Rodgers kind of fanning the fire as well with his comments, talking about how he can't wait to play with him again. So that kind of also starts the speculation. But do I think Devontae Adams wants to be an Oakland Raider? No, I don't. And nobody can really tell me any different. Does he know that he has to play out his obligation and I mean, I don't know his contract stipulations, but it seems like he's going to have to be there with. I mean, to go from playing with Aaron Rodgers to then trying to play with your college quarterback who then gets released, and now you're sitting here twiddling your thumbs between Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew. I would be a little disgruntled too if I was Devontae Adams. But I take it just because I do think that there's a little truth to everything. Do I think that it's a full blown out, I'm demanding to be traded? No, not necessarily. I don't think that's the type of person Devontae is. And again, I don't know him, but just guessing. And I do think that from watching the end of receiver that he does have some faith in Antonio Pierce. And now with Antonio Pierce being named the head coach, maybe that gave him a little bit of more pause to possibly try to give it, another go. But yeah, I mean, it's his bed. He lied in it. He wanted to go and get out there and, be closer to home, being in California, being that he's from California. So I do think there's a little truth to it, but I don't think it's as prominent as it may seem.
Ray, your thoughts on Devontae Adams and the chatter around him being available or not?
It's kind of tough to go against what the team is saying. So I guess I got to take it. But yeah, it just seems to be a lot of gray area here. But like it's weird because it seems like things are lining up for him to not want to be there anymore. I haven't gotten into receiver yet, but yeah, I don't know, man. Then especially with the Aaron Rodgers piece. But all that aside, NFL players got to stop trying to carry it like NBA players. Y'all not in the same boat, man. So yeah, I got to figure out another angle until things change, if they ever change. But yeah, I'll take it for now.
Like you said, until they ever change, because it is interesting that NFL fans like lose their rabid minds every time a player seems disgruntled. It's not the association. They could be disgruntled until that contract hits its void year, or until the team releases them. But the disgruntled is just like changing your what's it called? Changing the Facebook status. It means nothing. Teams don't care. Teams really, truly don't care in the least bit. I'm gonna take it. He's making a lot of money. I don't know who's going to be able to come get him out of Oakland. I think he's there. Now, if he's really that much happy with Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew, that speaks volumes about the other guy that I named, who I won't mention again. That's tough. But I'm always here to take a victory lap on that. Last wide receiver, I promise, for the night. I promise. Last one. Everyone's favorite wide receiver, T. Higgins of the Cincinnati Bengals. He did not reach long-term deal ahead of the Monday's 4 p.m. deadline, which means Higgins will be playing on a one-year franchise tag in 24. So he's 1 year past what Ayuk's going through. He's 1 year past it already. He's the only player who did not receive a multi-year deal by Monday's deadline out of 8 players that were kind of going through the same thing. Knowing they still have to pay Jamar Chase, and the Jamar Chase, CeeDee Lamb market underneath Justin Jefferson has yet to be, tapped into. We don't know exactly what that is. Higgins last year as a Bengal. Take it or leave it. Right.
Can I cheat?
Why not?
Depending on how this year goes for him performance-wise, that's going to determine my answer. I know that doesn't give much credence to answering it in the moment, but I'll just go. I'll take it, man. I don't think. I think the way he views himself and the way the franchise views him, those views aren't lining up. So yeah, unless he, performs up to snuff this season, I don't think he's there the following season.
Octavia.
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely take this too. I think, like you said, this is the last year of his contract, right?
Now, this is the first year of him being franchised. They already went through the initial, we're not re-upping you.
So after this year, they would have the opportunity to sign him again.
Yeah,
he can be a free agent.
Yeah, so they could franchise him again, or extend him at the end of the year, or free agent.
I kind of think it's going to be his last year, so I'm gonna take it. I think either way, I don't think he probably feels valued to a certain extent. So I think that he's going to be out. I think that if he does play well during the season, I think that even gives them more of an opportunity to trade him for something than to lose him for nothing, which I think is something that they probably are slightly worried about, which is why they franchised him. So I do think that eventually they're not going to have enough money to really give him what he wants, because like you said, they do still got to pay Jamar Chase. I don't know where Burrow is currently as far as within his contracts, and we know they're always going to have to figure out what they're going to do with their offensive line. So that's always going to be a thing, it seems like, with them. So I think that they'll run out of money that he's going to want. And I do think that he could be a decent number one on one of these, I don't want to say less fortunate teams, but one of these teams that don't really have a defined number one when it comes to wide receiver. Because I feel like, those games when Jamar Chase was out, he was the guy, and he definitely was able to hold his own. And then I forgot too, I don't know what they're doing with Tyler Boyd unless he's gone already. I don't know. So much stuff goes through my brain. But yeah, I think either way, he's probably done out there. But I think it does also kind of hinge on like what Ray said, how he plays. I think if he plays well enough, they try to parlay him into some type of trade where they can get something for him.
Yeah, he's so the difference between him and Brandon, a little bit of Brandon went late in the first round. So that's why the Niners had a 5th-year option on him. Bengals didn't have that luxury. T went in the 2nd round. So they were supposed to extend him after last year's the first year being franchised. And yeah, man, I'm gonna take it. I think it's a wrap. All you can do is maybe trade him. Because even if he just hits his regular level of production, he's gonna be priced out. Like you just can't. I'm one of the opinion that that's the wide receiver one over there. They can choose to do whatever they want to do, pay whoever they want to pay. If it's me and he's gone, that's on them. I wish them the best. But I do know in a lot of big games, Joey, sometimes, a lot of those yellow passes in tough situations go to number 5. So, if that's not there, I know folks feel like wide receivers growing trees these days. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I'm definitely taking that one. I'm going to slide over to rapid fire. This should be a fun first one. Everyone's favorite podcaster, Patrick Beverly. He's signing with Hapoel Tel Aviv, BC of the Israeli Basketball Premier League, per him in his Twitter account. That's how he let us, in his X account. That's how he let us know. Beverly played for the Sixers and Bucks last season. If he is to return to the NBA, he faces a 4-game suspension for throwing the ball at Pacers fans multiple times in Game 6 of the Bucks' first round series loss. Thoughts on Pat Bev choosing to play overseas this season? I'd say.
See you later, bro. Like, I don't care. I don't know what the contract was for. It's all I saw was the quote where he said it was an offer he couldn't refuse. So I'm assuming it's good money. That is amazing. If I don't have to see Patrick Beverly play on my TV, I'm good. And it's not his play, I hate to say. It's just everything else that comes with Patrick Beverly. It's always something. Before the situation with him throwing the ball at the Pacers fans, we saw last summer he was featured on ESPN morning talk shows a lot. He was talking a lot of cash trash that made no sense. And then throughout this past season, he got into it with a female reporter from ESPN and said he wasn't going to answer her questions because she didn't follow his podcast. And from there, he's been disinvited back to ESPN in any capacity. So that keeps him from being on my TV screen in any capacity. The only thing now I got to dodge is the clips of his podcast because, you know, everybody's podcasting now. But yeah, congratulations. Go overseas, have it up, do what you need to do. Do I think it's the last we'll see of him? Probably not, to be fair. I mean, he's not a terrible player. We know that. He just comes with a lot of baggage that I feel like a lot of franchises should be over at this point because it's not, I mean, he's not as bad as Draymond Green, but he has a lot of issues as well. And as a franchise, like, why do you want to keep having to go through that for somebody who's probably making vet minimum at this point? So congratulations, get your money, do what you got to do. But if you come back in the NBA, serve them 4 games, bro.
Right.
Life comes at you fast, brother. Like, you know what I mean? Like, dude, all this and if I can't refuse stuff, whatever, man. Whatever you need to tell us to sleep at night, bro. Yeah, just I'm glad that clown behavior is starting to be punished because we're in a place right now where it seems to be celebrated. And like all this podcast stuff and people trying to be just create a buzz and just turn into caricatures of themselves. Like dude, you just stick to what got you here. Like Pat Bev made his way, sticking his head in the sand and doing work. I don't know where he got to this point where he became a personality and all this other stuff, but now it's got you in Israel. But yeah, like I just want to get back to a place where foolishness is not celebrated or tolerated.
Might be waiting a while, but small strides are being made. But shout out to podcasters / NBAers everywhere. On to another NBAer, Jaylen Brown, man. This guy was caught summer league saying, "I don't think Ronnie's a pro." Allegedly, there also needs to be a separate convo about why camera people who are coming to games are spending more time watching people's conversation than the games they probably got a credential for. But that's it. He then tweeted later, "It's a flex to have your son alongside you in the NBA. It reflects greatness and longevity. Ronnie has all the tools around him to be successful. I look forward to watching his growth." Thoughts on his initial statement, which what he was caught saying, versus the quote after it. Ray, we'll start with you and then go to Octavia.
The initial statement, there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. There were 3 professional basketball players having a conversation about a professional basketball player. And it's not like the evidence wasn't leaning in his favor. But he's out there struggling in summer league. That usually means you're not an NBA player. I mean, it's not that deep. You know, I need people to to go outside and touch some grass, as you like to say, Wilson. And also that you pointed out, why are you there filming people having a conversation instead of, I don't know, focusing on the game? Then maybe if you focused on the game, then you would see that his comment was justified. So yeah, but this is about to be made into something that it's not. People give critiques of players all the time. You know, I get it. This one's a little different. It'd be disingenuous not to acknowledge that, given who this subject matter is about. But yeah, man, like it's it's just nonsense the way this is being portrayed. As far as his follow-up tweet, it was just unnecessary, man. Uh, People got to stop trying to smooth things over and all this other stuff, especially when you're speaking truth. Yeah, we know he has all the tools around him to succeed. He's had them his whole life, which is why the fact that we're at this point is even more embarrassing. Like, you should be better than you are if we keeping it a buck. So yeah, like people got to stop trying to placate to folks, man. Like, you gave an honest opinion. You know, you were having a conversation with the people you went to the game with, and somebody decided to have a trying to go viral moment. Like, just what he should have said is prove to me what I said is false. Put the onus on people to make me feel a certain way. Like, and if you can't do that, then then I'm gonna stand on what I said. Like, I just don't get it, man. I don't understand why people feel the need to backtrack and all this other stuff. Like, you said it in a private moment that you didn't think was being captured. Like, and it's not like he said anything egregious or he was, you know, being malicious or anything like that. Gave his honest opinion. It is what it is, man. Dude's not ready. Um, Only thing he can do from this point is prove the statement wrong. But as it stands now, July 16th, 2024, it's valid. So yeah, man, like folks just got to stop trying to trying to clean things up. Like, the statement was fine as is. The follow-up tweet wasn't necessary, although I understand why he did it. But maybe if people would stop doing stuff like that, we can get to a point where we can start having some honest conversations again.
Octavia.
Yeah, like the first thing I thought of was, but did he lie? I don't think he lied. We're talking about the 55th player pick in the NBA draft who played I guess you could call it 1 year of college and average 3 point, whatever he averaged. I don't know. We know that his situation that he came from prior to starting at USC. Cool. But he's not wrong. He's not a pro just because he was drafted. And one thing that I felt like when he was drafted that was argued a lot back and forth was about this whole nepotism thing and how certain people don't want to hear about nepotism when it comes to the 55th pick. And my thing is, just because nepotism has been done for others, as we know it has been in the NBA when it comes to coaching staff, getting positions, the front office, all of that stuff. But it's still nepotism, regardless of the fact. That's just what it is. So saying that that's what it is not an issue just because you're saying it where, oh, it shouldn't matter because everybody else does it. If everybody else jump off a bridge, y'all all did. It don't matter. It's still the same thing. So that, to me, again, that is why we're back on getting this whole scenario. I do think the comment or the tweet afterwards was to kind of calm everything down, just because, as we know, Jaylen Brown has been in the media constantly since the end of the finals, with the whole not making the USA team, not being a replacement for Kawhi on the USA team. I mean, going to the SBs with Kajir as well. So he's been in the media a lot, so, and to be fair, before this year, even his own saying, excuse me, he didn't get a lot of publicity. He didn't get a lot of press. He doesn't get the same media treatment that his counterpart Jason Tatum does as far as the commercials and the things of that sort. So this is all probably a little new to him. He's probably like, all right, it's a lot of people in my business now. Maybe I need to dial it back a little bit and, let me just be a little nice again. Like, oh, I mean, like, eventually. So I get it. Try to quiet it down a little bit. But again, you've been standing on business with everything else you've been talking about calling out Nike and everything, but maybe this was one he was like, I don't really want to argue with LeBron. You know, he got like 12 podcasts and the media company. Anybody got time for all of that? But I still don't think he lied. You know, as you both have said, he was having a private conversation with, assumingly, his girlfriend and one of his friends at a summer league game that his team was playing against the other team. So it makes sense that, yeah, I would be evaluating the game while we're there. So yeah, it's weird for people to zoom in on people, and I mean, essentially, you have to read his lips to really understand what's being talked about. But it is what it is. You know, I agree, and like you also said, Ray, the only thing that should be the 55th pick being able to say, "Hey, I'm gonna prove you wrong." Um, yeah, I think I'm only gonna call him the 55th pick now. I don't think I'm gonna use his name anymore.
I feel like that's where this was going. You've leaned all the way into this. So
Yeah, I think I just decided that just now. Like, yeah, that's just what it's going to be.
All right. Last but not least, more Jaylen Brown. Octavia with the great segue. Mr. I'm in the press. He's having his Brandon Ayuk moment. Everyone's in the press, who's usually kind of quiet. Getting it as big summer for quiet people. Look, he spoke with reporters during the Celtics Laker game that Octavia just mentioned, which is where the previous question occurred as well. He said he called Derek White to make sure there was no confusion after he, talk about Jaylen Brown, was critical of USA basketball for not offering him a spot on Team USA basketball. He was then asked if he believes Nike played a role in him not making a team. Brown currently doesn't have a shoe deal as his contract with Adidas expired 3 years ago, so technically he's a sneaker free agent. He said, I do for sure. There'll be more stuff to come with that, but as of now, we're not going to comment on it. That's what he said to reporters in response to a question about if he felt like Nike specifically had something to do with him not being a team. Thoughts on him making sure his teammate didn't take his comments as hate because Derek White was selected. And any thoughts on the Nike comments or just on him not being selected, you know, in general? Ray and then Octavia.
I think him just checking in with with Derek White was I think that's something you do with the teammate, just to kind of make sure that that wasn't directed at you, wasn't a stray or what have you. I'm sure he's happy for him. And I'm sure they talked about that aspect of it. I get that part of it. And yeah, it's it's something you want to do with somebody you're going to be going to war with in a couple months, trying to defend a championship. Uh, the as far as the Nike piece, of course, there's going to be speculation regarding that, and justified speculation. We know how Nike gets down, so I'm sure it'll never be officially proven, but I don't think anybody would be outside, outside the lines by suggesting that his prior comments would have led to him not being selected. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of what happens when you decide to go that route. It kind of it's not the same thing, but it reminds me of Isaiah Thomas a little bit, just with how he feels he's perceived now or what have you. Dude, like you spent your whole career building a certain reputation. You can't be mad when the reputation sticks. You're undermining your own work. It is what it is. So yeah, I mean, like, is it fair that some comments Jalen made, a couple years ago are being held potentially held against him? Maybe not, but it's just how things work, buddy. So I mean, you probably just got to eat that one. It's not much to be done about it now. Um, but um, but yeah, that's pretty much where I stand on it.
All right, Octavia.
I assumed that he would have had the conversation with Derek White because of their chemistry as a team. I have adopted. I'm a Celtics fan now. You guys know I team hop with stuff, but I feel like a Celtics fan like the last 3 years. So I think I'm good. But anyway, I assumed he had the conversation. It's nice to hear him publicly say that he did have the conversation, so that the narrative that could come out of that is squashed. So I think it was a good thing for him to say it publicly. So like, nobody can run away with this narrative that I don't like Derek and blah, 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 or whatever the situation is. As far as the comments about Nike and what he has said in the past that possibly led to Nike having any influence on him not making the team. One thing I always tell people, and I always keep in mind that, there's freedom of speech, but it doesn't mean that the consequences aren't going to come. So you were able to have your comments and you were able to do what you needed to say, what you wanted to say. And we all know the feeling at the time around the whole Kyrie Irving situation. And he had comments that he felt like, stand on business. And that's what you wanted to say. And it's perfectly fine for him to have those feelings and for him to have those opinions. It's perfectly fine for Nike not to mess with it. And if they don't want to, unfortunately, that's kind of how the cookie crumbles in the corporate world. And people with all the money get to make all the decisions. So it's a sucky situation. I understand the pedigree that he had, especially these last couple of months, that would essentially vault him into, you would assume, the next person that would be looked at to replace Kawhi Leonard. While I don't disagree that Derek White is a good fit as well. So I understand when you have a company that's looking at two players that essentially not 100% the same, because we know Jaylen Brown is a little bit more, I guess, refined than Derek White, even though Derek White was a big piece of them winning the championship. If you got two of them together and I'm looking, I'm like, this one talked mess about me, this one didn't, I'm gonna go with the one that didn't. That just kind of makes sense to me. So it's a sad situation, especially because a lot of these players want to be able to represent their country and play in the Olympics. Hopefully they don't hold it against him forever, because he's still young enough where he could be ready for the next cycle in the next 4 years to play in LA, which I think would be huge for him. So hopefully he's able to, possibly smooth over what any type of relationship is possibly having, but continuously poking them is not going to help. So it's one of those situations where it's like, you kind of got to let bygones be bygones if you really want to get somewhere else. If you know that they have the influence that they have, you got to kind of move a little bit more politically correct when it comes to situations like that. And sometimes it's a hard lesson to learn. You learn the lesson, and it might be in the worst situation where this lesson taught you that and it kept you off of an Olympic team, in your opinion, because again, we don't have any proof that Nike did anything. But things happen. But yeah, I mean, hopefully he gets an opportunity. He deserves it. He's definitely stepped it up, but I guess we'll see.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you guys. I just think it's one of the things. Luckily, I think he's 27, turns 28. 27 now. I think he turns 28 next year. But man, hopefully, between you and Nike, both of you might be in a situation coming the next cycle where you both might not like it, but you both might need each other on the Olympic team. Maybe for the next two. So it's going to be what it's going to be. I want to thank y'all for tuning in. Don't forget to get over to thefocustv.com. Tune into the Focus TV Wednesday as early as 9 a.m. on our Roku channel. If you got a Roku television device, all you have to do is type in the Focus TV in the search box and double tap OK to add the channel. For Octavia, Ray, and myself, y'all have a great week.